simulcast tonight. Um, and I'm doing it on my YouTube channel as well as LinkedIn audio rooms. So if you are in LinkedIn and we're connected there, do feel free to join me there. I started on my YouTube channel first so that it wouldn't be so clumsy starting two at the same time. So just give me a moment as I get started. It's been a while, while we have some minutes, it's been a while since I've gone live on my YouTube channel, by the way. And so I am aiming to do this a little bit more frequently, as I am now doing every Tuesday a LinkedIn audio room called Everything Intimacy, Joy, and Your Emotions Q&A. So that's what I'm here for tonight, and I'm super excited to share this space with you. It really came to my mind, and I'll talk about this a little bit more when the audio room opens up, but I really have been wanting to create a space where we can have conversations and not, about topics that tend to be considered taboo, but not treat it as if it is. And that's the key here, because um, things, we understand things to be the way that they actually are not. And I'm going to talk about that tonight as well. So I'm really excited and looking forward to this. This is going to be, a really good time, and we'll see who joins us in LinkedIn. Anyway, so for those of you who are, if you've been on my YouTube channel for a while, and you're used to me going live here and there, you, let's see. I'm going to see if I can grab this live stream. Okay, maybe I can. I will not do that. Well, we will not experiment with the tech today. We will do that the next time when I have someone here to handle the tech, so I can handle the conversation. All right, which is now, because we're starting at 6 o'clock. So I am now going to press the button to open up the LinkedIn Live audio room. All right, the room is open, and I want to welcome everyone in. Again, I'm already live on my YouTube channel, just so that you know, and I'm just waiting for people to join the audio room so we can actually have a Q&A discussion. So this is a Q&A discussion. All right, so let me begin. I created this audio room, Everything Intimacy, Joy, and Your Emotions, because I saw a need to ask questions about intimacy, joy, and your emotions. There exist so many societal norms and innuendos and assumptions on this topic, on these topics. But, I feel like we don't have a whole lot of conversation about these topics. And yes, there are lectures about what it is, about what it isn't, and how to do it and how not to do it. But again, even in those lectures, there's like a whole rainbow of colors that are left unaddressed. So, and in this space, I want to, set some guidelines, because what happens is when we don't have guidelines, it's very hard to come to agreements. So I want to be clear about what it is that we will be getting into in these conversations. And so, like I said, this is the first of these weekly audio rooms that I'm going to be doing. And, just this evening, I had the inspiration to also choose to go live on my YouTube channel. So I am doing a simulcast, is what it's called. And so this is not a space where I talk to you, but rather listen to your questions and give you the tools for your own answers to emerge. So I want to thank you for being here. And you may be wondering who I am and how I'm qualified to talk about these topics. Well, I am going to share a bit of my bio to tell you who I am, and I'm going to infuse some real truths. So, I am the founder of Cordelia Gaffar Enterprises. I am a best-selling author. I've written 8 books. 4 of them were collaborations, and 4 of them were solo projects of my own. I am the host of the award-winning podcast called The Free to Be Show. And my clients and my friends affectionately refer to me as the ultimate joy goddess, because I invite women to choose pleasure and enjoy multi-orgasmic living. And I also invite and build elite teams through joy bonding. And I invite the world to intimacy intelligence. So my path began in 2002 when I had a postpartum depression after having 2 miscarriages. And so after essentially 4 pregnancies and 2 live births, my body was starting to send me messages through this postpartum depression diagnosis. And my response to that was to begin to use food as medicine and to find alternative exercises like eccentrics and qigong. And I had also gained a substantial amount of weight during that 4th pregnancy, 2nd live birth. And with me solely focused on my emotions, right? It was my emotions that were the catalyst here. And I used that as a power source to find a path to wholeness, right? And so while I was using food as medicine and learning about eccentrics and qigong, now what's unique about eccentrics is it is a modality that teaches that teaches the nerves and the muscles to communicate again, and it corrects the dysfunction in the body structurally, right? That's the aim. While qigong, on the other hand, focuses on strengthening the body with the breath and the energy centers. So that was about 22 years ago on my personal path, right? I lost all of the emotional and physical weight, or I released it. I love to use the term release. And 2 years later, I chose to give up my corporate position as a CFO for a tech company in exchange for home educating my children. And I immediately realized that the only way to be successful, and the only way for this to be sustainable was through me having practices, sustainable practices of self-nurturing. And so I set out to discover every possible way to nurture myself, which meant I had to be a student of myself and listen to my body, listen to myself. I had to pay attention to my emotions and to all the physiological changes with each pregnancy. So I began to research how humans learn, the brain develops, studying many modalities that I chose not to get certified in because I don't resonate with the total philosophy, but I believe in using the knowledge that is well suited for my particular situation, right? I was doing this for me, not to be outward facing. But after years of creating community for my children through the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and other educational co-ops, I started a blog in 2010. And after 5 years, that turned into my first book about physical and nutritional well-being, creating sustainable practices of self-nurturing. Since 2016, I've gotten certified in sports nutrition, holistic healing, somatic movement. I've studied Tantra for a few years, and I'm currently studying and have upcoming certifications in authentic consent and aerosomatic touch. And I've also won multiple awards, including the Sexy Brilliant Leader Award in 2019, in 2020 and 2022, Podcast of the Year, and in 2023, Powerhouse Global Woman, just to name a few. There are actually quite a few more. My extensive background in nutrition, fitness, and having 4 home births, and and studying sexology has made me work especially focused on women choosing pleasure and multi-orgasmic living as the deepest form of self-nurturing, inviting the corporate world to shift by relating through my joy bonding consulting and inviting them also to intimacy intelligence. So tonight I want to begin our discussion by talking about community. So a lot of us think that community, we have some ideals about what community is. But the truth is, community emerges from a shared recognition of interdependence. This is the original indigenous understanding that community, it's about everyone's well-being and that our beings are all tied together. So think about that for a moment. Do you feel that that is also your definition of community? Do you feel like your community is about an interdependent, a recognition of shared interdependence? And do you feel like your well-being is tied to the well-being of the other people in your community? Most often we don't, because a lot of our communities are tied to money or time. And, not necessarily, and sometimes it's about shared interest, right? It could be the neighborhood you live in, but those are not true definitions of community. So if we are honest and open with each other, and we feel that our well-being is tied to that of another, then guess what? In recognizing our interdependence, that is a form of intimacy. That is the most basic definition of intimacy. Recognizing that your interdependence is shared, right? Now, what a joy to know that your well-being and someone else's ability to thrive, like a whole bunch of people and families' ability to thrive, is interdependent on how well you nurture yourself, how well you take care of yourself, right? That's a new level. Think about it. Now we do things for people for, we want it to be perceived as a good deed. But what if the thing you were doing for someone else was taking care of your own self? And that was the good deed. That's the way community emerges. And that gives us joy. Now think about the level of emotional well-being and belonging that must exist in a society where you are in the recognition that you share this interdependence, that your well-being affects directly another's well-being, instead of how much you do for somebody, right? How much you be for somebody is what matters. And so that is where we begin in this discussion on everything intimacy, joy, and your emotions. So I look forward to coming here and being with you both on LinkedIn, Audio Room, and here on my YouTube channel for my brief talk and for our Q&A session. So thank you, and until next time, be free. Visit me on LinkedIn at Cordelia Gaffar or on my website at cordeliagaffar.com.